How we doing, everybody? And welcome in to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Thursday, August 8th, a fantastic Thursday here in the great state of Wisconsin. Even better, because autumn is back today. I tried, like you guys know, I tried the fact of the day yesterday. It didn't go so well. It was a rough day. We're glad to have autumn back. Autumn, how we doing? Thursday here, great Thursday in the great state of Wisconsin.
I'm doing really good, Trajan. The weather has been absolutely beautiful, and you're actually able to go outside without sweating to death, so it's a good day.
Great day. It's a fantastic day. Hopefully the rain is holding off. They've been talking. It's going to be on and off. It could potential. They're talking potential for rain, and this year, if they talk potential, it just means there's about a 95% chance we're going to see some rain out there. So, like I said, great day today here. Lots to get into. We did see some breaking news yesterday, not pertaining completely to Wisconsin, but a Big Ten opponent. And this is, is it relevant? Probably not. Probably not there. But we did see some news with Jim Harbaugh. You know, there was a sign stealing scandal that he had going on. There was the COVID violations he had going on with meeting with recruits. And now we finally got a little bit of the pieces of the puzzle are starting to put themselves together here. We have a little bit coming out of the COVID violations there. Autumn, what did we see yesterday there reported there about Jim Harbaugh?
So the NCAA announced a 4-year show cause order and 1 season suspension for the former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh on Wednesday for the impermissible contact with recruits and players during COVID, which effectively bans him from college athletics until August of 2028. But the thing is, Trajan, is the NCAA had already put Michigan on 3 years of probation, along with a fine and recruiting limits after reaching that resolution in the case. But Harbaugh didn't go along with the agreement, so they disputed the allegations. He failed to cooperate with investigators, so his case was handled separately.
I gotcha.
No, I was just going to explain, because you and I were kind of talking, what is this show cause thing? So, the show cause penalty that they're talking about means a school wanting to hire a coach serving that penalty must appear before the NCAA Committee on Infractions to explain why it wants to do so. So, the NCAA's order for Harbaugh started on Wednesday and will run through August 6, 2028. It requires a school wanting to hire him to suspend him for the first full season, and then after that, he would still be barred from athletic-related activities, including team travel, practice, video study, recruiting, team meetings, until that order were to expire.
So Jim Harbaugh ain't going back to college. That's what I'm getting at. This. Nobody's really hiring him to be a college coach anytime soon. It came down to he wasn't very transparent. He wasn't, they asked him, hey, you want to talk to us? And nobody said a word. He wouldn't say a word. He kept lying about it, right? He kept saying, I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't involved in this. I wasn't involved in that. Dude, if he would have admitted it, yes, he would have still got penalized. Yes, it still would have been something coming out of it, but wouldn't have looked so bad is where it's coming from. And you know what? Honestly, end of the day, the biggest thing coming out of this, it means nothing. It honestly means nothing. This isn't going to affect him now. Now, they are talking to the NFL now, and they want the NFL to do something about it, right? Because the NCAA is a big corporation, a big organization that he kind of ran from. Not really ran, right? Got a job coaching an NFL team. But penalties should still have to be, you still have the penalty. You still got to serve that penalty in some way, shape, or form. So the NCAA, a lot of people want him to see that at the NFL level. Now, will he? I don't know. I truthfully don't know if the NFL is actually going to do anything about it because he's putting the Chargers back on the map a little bit. He's giving Justin Herbert a little bit of that spotlight right now, giving the Chargers that spotlight. So the NFL kind of likes that. They like that this new built Chargers team with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. They like that. So will the NFL do anything about it? It's a wait and see kind of thing. But honestly, right now, the whole story, it's fun to try to keep up with it, right? It's like the Shohei Ohtani thing, trying to keep up with that. But it really doesn't mean a whole lot right now. It doesn't mean a whole lot at the moment. We will see if the NFL handles it in a different way. Plus now Michigan. I mean, the University of Michigan will face the repercussions of this. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. The University of Michigan. You wanna see them suck, but man, oh man, not this way, not this bad, right? Not this bad. So with that, sticking with the NFL though, let's stick with some NFL talk. We're gonna stick with Wisconsin now. We're gonna look at the Packers a little bit. I want to look into the Packers here. I want to see, just some tidbits I had to talk about here about the Packers today. So with this receiving group, they got some good talent in there, right? We've seen it in training camp now. Hopefully going to see it translate into this season. But I kind of wanted to make my list. Who's my number one wide receiver with the Green Bay Packers? Who's my number two? Who's my number three? And who is my number four? And maybe if there's just a guy on the outside looking in. So my number one, if I'm looking at a number one guy with the Packers right now, Romeo Dobbs. I'd have to give it to Dobbs. I mean, watching him right now in training camp, this guy is playing different. He's playing on a different level. He kind of, honestly, I don't know if it's just me, but he gives me a Davante Adams kind of vibe. He does. Watching him play, watching the skill set that he has, the catching ability, the catch radius that he has, Romeo Dobbs gives me kind of that Davante Adams kind of vibe, and I like that. I like that in the receiver there. I mean, we all love Davante Adams. I think Romeo Dobbs has a lot of those same tendencies. I love him, and he's my wide receiver one right now. My wide receiver two, and this is where it might get a little interesting. You would think, if Christian Watson could stay healthy, Christian Watson would be my wide receiver too, right? I mean, he fits that fold. He fits that fold as being that guy. The pace, right? He's my speed threat, my down the field kind of guy. He's got decent catch radius, right? I wouldn't put him in there. I think Dobbs and Dontavian Wicks to me are the two best pass catchers on this team. But Watson, he has that separation speed. I think that separates him there a little bit. So I have Watson in my number two, but just edging my number three guy, and I'm looking at him being Jayden Reed. I think Jayden Reed is the number three wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers right now. Now, will that change? I think this list could change. Because my number four guy that I'm going to slot in here, I think he could be the number two receiver on this team. I think he has the potential to be a number one at some point. I think the Packers, honestly, right now, have three, maybe four guys who could potentially be a number one receiver. And they are in my top four. I think each one of these guys has that kind of potential. They have that skill set to be a number one. Now, will they be a bona fide number one? Maybe not. Some of them might be twos. But that ain't nothing to shake your head at either with some of these NFL rosters out there. So in my three, it's Wicks, but he ain't far behind. It's Reed, but he isn't far behind Watson there. In my two, I think you could interchange them two guys just as easy there. And in my number four, I have Dontavian Wicks. And this is one where I think he could be the two. I think he could be the four. Dontavian Wicks right now, he slots in at my number four spot. I think this guy is the toughest one of the bunch. I think he has the best hands of the bunch. The catch radius, him and Dobbs, I think those two have eerily similar hands, and I think they have eerily similar. That's a tough word. It's botching me right now. But I think they're eerily close. There we go. Close in their skill sets there. I just think Dobbs as a route runner, I like him just a little bit better than what I like Dontavian Wicks as right now. But Wicks, I feel like, has all the potential in the world to be a number two or a number one receiver. I really do. I love what I see out of Wicks there. And that's not to take out of some of the other guys like Bo Melton and Malik Heath in there too. I think those guys have a boatload of potential in that wide receiver room. Even a guy like Samori Toure, he's a little bit undersized, but I think Toure is a guy to watch there as being a potential, at some point in the year, you might need him kind of guy, right? So I like what I see out of them, but that would be my top four. That would be my top four wide receivers there in Green Bay right now. So looking at the running backs right now, we know Josh Jacobs, he's going to start out, he's your number one. AJ Dillon, I believe, right now is the number two. They have some backs. They have a lot of talent in the running back room. I just think right now, the way that it stands, I look at AJ Dillon as my number two back. They said, from what I've seen, what I've heard coming out of training camp, it's like he's gained a step, and he's also slimmed down a little bit. So AJ Dillon might be a different kind of bruiser coming out this season. He might be. So I would say AJ Dillon kind of fits into my number two back right now. Autumn, could you find me a list where some of these guys, some of these analysts have quarterback rankings right now? There's got to be a quarterback ranking list out there, whether it's a guy from ESPN or something like that. I'm kind of interested because I want to see where I would rank Jordan Love compared to what some of these other guys do. She's finding one out there. She's finding one. I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued to see where, some of these analysts, some of the guys who do this every single day for a job would rank a guy like Jordan Love now.
They have him as number 11 out of 32.
So who is the top 10? Who is above Jordan Love right now?
Yeah, so in order, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts, CJ Stroud, and then we have Jordan Love.
Man, that is a tough list. Patrick Mahomes is better. You'd rank him above. Josh Allen, I don't know. Josh Allen's a toss-up for me. Lamar Jackson, I think Jordan Love may surpass him at some point, but I think Lamar's up there. Joe Burrow, you didn't see him much last year. So how does that, does that inch him a little bit? I guess not. So they got Joe Burrow up there. You said Dak's in there. CJ Stroud's in there. I think Love's better than Matthew Stafford. I think he's got experience on him. Matthew Stafford does, but I think Judge is better, or that Love is better than Stafford. I would take him above him there. Yeah, 11 is, that's pretty solid, I would say, honestly. I could interchange. CJ Stroud had a fantastic year. I think the only thing you could really do is maybe drop Stafford down a little bit. You could move those two guys above him there. But honestly, that list ain't bad. That list ain't bad at all with that top 10. I think Jordan Love sitting at 11 right now is pretty good, honestly, because you put a half a season into perspective last year. Right? You put a half a season there. Now, if they would have put Tua above him and they would have thrown some crazy stuff out there, I think that kind of changes the perspective on that. But those quarterbacks up at the top right now, though I do believe that Jordan Love could be better than a chunk of that list. Right now, the 11th spot's solid for him. The 11th spot's solid for Jordan Love. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that list. Who made that list?
Head double check. PFF.
Okay. So it's just one of them lists out there. There's a million of them. Everybody ranks their quarterbacks there. So, I mean, yeah, 11 ain't a bad spot for Jordan Love to be sitting right now in, I would say, just about most rankings. I think you could interchange probably 8 through 11 in that list that they just gave off there, and I think you could get away with it. I really do think you could. So, another Packer tidbit there. We do see Zach Tom return to the practice field for the Green Bay Packers. So that's big news. That's big news getting Zach Tom back. That's great news. Great news there. Other than that, I mean, we had another kicker brought into camp. Excuse me there. We had another kicker brought into camp there for the Green Bay Packers. So what does that mean for Anders Carlson and for Joseph, who are already in the room? Not a whole lot. I mean, it's basically just another leg just to look at there. I'm not too. If I'm Anders Carlson, maybe it concerns me a little bit that the Packers are still out there looking right now, but maybe they're just trying to give him an edge. I don't know. It's one of those things where I would think the Packers want to get this kicking situation figured out a little bit before that. I mean, from what I just read there, their workout for 7 free agents, including 3 kickers. So they're testing out a lot of kicking legs right now. Jonathan Garby, James McCourt, Andre Sismont were all worked out by the Packers here this week already. I mean, they're trying to find something. They're trying to find something in that kicking room. It really seems like if I'm Anders Carlson right now, I don't have a lot of job security right now. I really have to worry about my job, and I got to figure it out, right? So I mean, should you worry if you're Anders Carlson? I do believe. I do believe you should there. Outside of that, I mean, the Packers defense. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I think this Packers defense might be sneaky. A lot of people aren't talking about them, right? I mean, Packer fans are. Packer analysts are, people who are watching the Packers very close. But you look at the national scale, there's not a lot of people saying the Green Bay Packers defense is going to be something to watch. I really do think this defense is going to be something to watch. You added McKinney there. You're bringing back Walker, Rashawn Gary. You have Clark still in there. And then you look at some of the other pieces around. You're going to have McKinney in that secondary, Valentine in the secondary there, Ballantyne in the secondary. I'm really intrigued to see Engenbar for his second year. I'm really intrigued by him. Van Ness to see what he kind of develops into there. And then, I mean, Jair. You still have Jair out there. You still have Keyshawn Nixon. And with Halfley now running it like McKinney, I believe it was McKinney said, or it might have been Bullard. I think it might have been Bullard who was in a conversation or with a reporter. And he said Halfley just has a way to put you in the right spot so that you can play fast, right? And I think that's huge. If Halfley can scheme up that defense where these guys can play balls to the walls all the time and be able to get after guys, that's huge. That's huge. So I love that. I think it's going to speak volumes having a guy like Halfley in there who's going to allow this defense to flow free and is going to they're going to play fast. And I think that's going to be a key to this defense who they have a lot of playmakers on there who need to play fast. They can't be set in these zones. They have to be able to play fast. It's going to be big time. I really do think the Packers will be that defense that nobody's talking about right now, that when it comes around to season time, everybody's going to be talking about because they're going to be like, whoa, where did this defense come from? Where did this defense come from? Nobody expected this. I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited to see this defense get her going here and to see them out on the field. So we have, training. We have preseason already starting, coming up this weekend here against the Browns. We're going to see some starters. I don't know who is going to play yet, right? We know we're going to see Jordan Love. We're going to see some of the other veterans out there. I'm interested to see some of these rookies out on the field there and see how they flow, especially on the defensive side. I think that's going to be something to watch this weekend here. So with that, before we move on here, I want to mention some great sponsors of the show here quick. First, Game Day Supply in Alaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Alaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently, whether it was at work, whether you're mowing the lawn, whether you're playing with the kids, whatever it was, you felt something tear, pop, whatever it was, you don't feel right, you went to a doctor, they said you need to see a physical therapist, stop in there and see Chad at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. He'll get you right. He'll get you back to work, back mowing the lawn, back playing with the kids, feeling better than ever. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. Sports Scene, Sports Cards, and Memorabilia, located in the Marshfield Mall in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Get down there and see Al. He has everything you need, from sporting cards to memorabilia, jerseys, model stock cars. He's got it all. Sports Scene in Marshfield. Marshfield Motor Speedways, located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. Get down there this summer. Tons of family fun for all ages. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. Nothing better than a great summer day or night down at the track there. Marshfield Motor Speedways. Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville, Wisconsin. And also your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy Sue or Anna to find your dream home or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield there. So with that, we got to get to Autumn. She's back. We got to get to Autumn's tidbits of the day.
Some quick tidbits for today is the women's Team USA defeated Nigeria 88-74 to advance to the semifinals against Australia on Friday. They are in the quest for their 8th straight gold medal. Apparently, Nigeria played really, really well, and it was a tough matchup for the team. I know Team USA gave Nigeria a lot of props for a great game on that. And then just a former Badger player, Tyler Wall, signed with the help me out, Trajan.
Croatian basketball team.
Yeah, so it's the Adriatic Basketball Association, where he'll play in Croatian for KK Zadar. The Croatian club announced on Wednesday that Wall has signed a 1-year contract with an option for a second season with the team in 2025. Wall is going to head to Europe, which comes after he worked out for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Utah Jazz, and the Milwaukee Bucks. He didn't get drafted by the NBA team, but he did play for the Timberwolves in the Las Vegas Summer League.
Great stuff. Great stuff right there. Glad to see Tyler Wall continuing his basketball career. A lot of people were kind of down about how Tyler Wall played when he was in Madison. He never really developed into being what a lot of people hoped he would. I mean, I liked me some Tyler Wall. Yes, I was probably one of those people that wish he would have developed a shot outside of the paint, but I'm glad to see him being able to further his career there in the Croatian club. That is great stuff there. Great stuff by the women's basketball team, too. I mean, it just seems like they mop everybody. It's, so you look at the women's side of the Olympics right now, you can tell mainly that talent that is in the WNBA or women's basketball, a lot of it's in the United States, right? You look at the men's side, and it seems like it's spread out. There's a little bit of talent here. There's a little bit of talent here. I mean, you got, Jokic is playing in Serbia. You got Giannis in Greece. You have Canada. They have a pretty darn good team, Shea Gildress, and they have Dylan Brooks up there, right? So they have some pretty good teams floating around, whereas the women's side, it just seems like the women's U.S. team is just so dominant because they're just, the talent isn't as spread out. It isn't as spread out like it is with the men's. But, I mean, you got to play who you got to play. So, at the same time, saying all that, it's great to hear that this women's team is moving on. They're going to be in the semifinals, like you said, against Australia. Big game for them there. Trying to win an 8th straight gold medal, that's impressive. Whether it's, lack of talent elsewhere or not, that is impressive stuff right there. So, good stuff coming out of the women's side. In the men's side, we did see the United States defeat Brazil 122-87, just a complete trouncing once again. Devin Booker, he goes for 18 points, 6 for 9 from the field. We saw Anthony Edwards, 17 points there. Joel Embiid, 14 points. A lot of that coming in that first half for Joel Embiid. He basically just buried Brazil early on. They have a good front line. Brazil does. So Joel Embiid saw a lot of minutes. So did a lot of the other bigs for the United States there. LeBron, 12 points there. LeBron exited the third quarter after being hit near the left eye and needed 4 stitches. Okay. I mean, suck it up, right? Put a bandage on and get back out there. I don't care, right? Whatever. So LeBron gets injured, but he'll be fine. It's far ways from his heart, I guess. I don't know. Poor guy. He gets roughed up all the time. He probably flopped 40 feet, and he's like, where's the call? And they're like, this is the Olympics, not the NBA. Oh, okay. Sorry. So, either way, the U.S. will face Serbia coming up next in the semifinal today. So, big game here for the United States taking on Serbia once again. There should be a great one there. Should be quite the test. There for this United States team. Outside of that, just a tidbit, Autumn just brought to my attention that I forgot to talk about there, and that is that the Seattle Seahawks and the Lions were both fined $200,000 for fights that were going on, for fights that were happening on the field there during a joint practice. So, I mean, I think it's, honestly, I think it's good for something to come, some kind of penalty to come from this, because we see a lot of joint practice fights. Now, that's just a lot of fire, right? But you don't want your stars getting in fights. We saw Malik Neighbors getting into a fight there, and it's like, okay, this is your first-round pick. Like, protect him a little bit. Try and protect him a little bit. I don't know. Why are we swinging? Why are we fighting against a guy with a helmet on? Right? We're out here throwing punches at guys with helmets. What is that going to do? What is that going to do if we're throwing punches at a guy with a helmet on, right? And worst comes to worst, I mean, he's got a padding over top of their helmet, right? They're wearing that padding a little bit there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Some of the fights that we're seeing breaking out. Seattle had one. Lions had one with the Giants, right? Just what I was talking about there, the Giants with neighbors there. I mean, they've all had little scuffles as of late here. So good to see that teams are being fined for this, right? Seattle hasn't been fined yet for their little skirmish that they had. But we saw Lions, Giants, fines come from that. Seattle has not been fined yet, but I would expect something to come out of it eventually. There. So maybe we'll see something come out of that too, because honestly, it's just stupid. It honestly is stupid. Like we're fighting guys with helmets on. Come on. Like maybe shake the face mask or something, rattle his head. I don't know, but punching at a guy with a helmet on, that's the smartest move we got. That's the smartest move we got. We got to protect some of these players, right? We got to protect some of these players from being stupid themselves at some point, right? Trying to avoid that kind of scuffle, because you don't see it on Sunday after the fact. It's like, go hit him harder in the next play, right? We don't need to start these little scuffles off to the side. Just stupid there. We've seen it over the years, and it's, I mean, just being the same, right? Just being the same there. So with that, last little bit there, let's get to Autumn's fact of the day before we get over to the Brewers.
Fact of the day is Crayola crayons are the 18th most recognized smell in the world. In a study conducted by Yale, the scent of crayons ranked 18 out of 80 as a recognizable scent.
Interesting. That's an interesting one right there. I guess crayons smell like crayons. I guess. I don't know. Crayons smell like crayons is what I'm getting out of this. So people can recognize crayons. Good for you. If you can start smelling that the crayons smell different, that's when we got to worry. Because if you don't have scented crayons, then we got problems if you're smelling different things when you're smelling the crayons there. So with that, let's get into a little bit of Brewer talk for the day here. I mean, we saw the Brewers last night trounce up on them Braves. 10-0 final there. I mean, Autumn, what do we got? Key performers. What did we see from some key performers in that game there?
Some key performers that we saw would be Bryce Strang went 2 for 6 with 1 RBI. Jackson Chourio went 2 for 6. And Garrett Mitchell 1 for 5. William Contreras, finally, we're seeing a little bit more from him, 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. Willie Adames went 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Rhys Hoskins went 2 for 5. And Joey Ortiz went 2 for 4 with 1 RBI.
Big game there. I mean, it's a big game by the bats. Really something that we've been looking for was the bats to break out. They did big time last night. I mean, you're talking 16 hits spread out across a 9-inning baseball game. That's impressive. There. Some other things, I mean, you look at runners left on base, runners in scoring position, the team batting with runners in scoring position, 8 for 21 on the game there. They left 11 guys on base. So the potential to score more runs is always there, right? It's always there. The Brewers didn't clean house. It was a great game. Great game by this Brewers offense. And, pitching-wise, Colin Ray, he delivers another good performance for this Brewers team. 7 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Great game out of Colin Ray. But the interesting one, Joe Ross came in to pitch. He came in for relief. Now, Joe Ross is scheduled to pitch, not yesterday, right? Because we saw Freddie. He was scheduled to pitch today against the Braves. So, who are the Brewers going to pitch against the Braves in Game 3? That moves up Frankie Montas, right? Frankie Montas is scheduled for the Thursday game. But now the Reds, Friday. Brewers come back home. They're taking on the Reds. Who's going to fit that fold? DL Hall. I think DL Hall is coming back, right? They said he had one more rehab start down in the minors, and that we were going to see DL Hall at some point, right? Hopefully soon is what everybody kept telling us. I think we're going to see DL Hall on Friday. I'll be honest with you. I think DL Hall will pitch Friday. He will pitch this weekend for the Brewers. Freddie pitched, right? We saw Freddie. We know Montes is going to move up. I think that brings him in. Just because Joe Ross, I believe now, is kind of getting, they said, okay, we don't want him to face the Braves again. I could see that. It wasn't very good the first time he faced the Braves, so I wouldn't want to see him against the Braves again. But I think it does move the rotation around enough that I think we do see potentially Joe Ross moved out to the bullpen and DL Hall moved in. I think that's the move we're going to see there. Outside of that, Brian Hudson. I believe Brian Hudson will be back this weekend. They sent him back to pitch with the Nashville Sounds once again. Pat Murphy said soon. I think soon will be this weekend here. I think we will see Brian Hudson back. Hopefully get McGill coming back here pretty soon. That would be awesome to get Trevor McGill back. As we see Joey Ortiz drive in, hopefully Willie Adames, if he gets the horse moving. Yes, he does. He scores. So the Brewers go up 7-4 here watching the game right now in the 8th. Great stuff there. But, I could see DL Hall moving into that rotation there. So that is going to be, I think, a good thing. I think it's going to be a good thing. I really do. I'm hoping for the best with DL Hall coming back there. They could really use an uplift there with the lefty arm in DL Hall. Looking at, and this is a question I had, can Garrett Mitchell, be the left-handed bat to replace Christian Yelich's production? Can he be that guy? Because I would say, okay, looking at my outfield, you have Sal Frelick, you have Blake Perkins. Those two guys are your lefty options, right? Blake Perkins, a switch hitter, and Sal Frelick being the lefty. Could those two replace Christian Yelich? I don't think so, because Christian Yelich adds a little bit of an extra base hit kind of thing. That's not big into those two. Those two are more of your contact guys, more of your get-on-base guys, and make things happen after that. So that leaves me with Garrett Mitchell. He's kind of the difference between, he's a middle ground between Sal Frelick and Christian Yelich. He has the pop. He has the extra base hit ability. Right now he's getting on top of the baseball, so not really boding well for the ability for him to drive the ball. But can Garrett Mitchell be that guy? That's a tough one. If Mitchell gets going right, which I believe he was there a little bit, he's been hitting the baseball as of late there. It's not like it's this 0 for day with 3 strikeouts, right? He's putting the ball in play. I think Mitchell could give me 3/4 of the production that Christian Yelich was given. I think he can. I really do think he can. I think he has the contact ability. He has the speed. And I really do think he has the power to be able to give us 3/4 of what Christian Yelich was. So the left-handed bat that the Brewers are kind of looking for right now to replace the bat that they're losing in Christian Yelich, I think they'll get a little bit of that boost from Garrett Mitchell here. He's slowly working his way back in the lineup, right? We got to remember, this guy has barely touched the baseball field in 2 seasons. He's barely touched the baseball field. So with him getting some time, some reps, getting back into the fold of things, getting comfortable, everything like that, I think Garrett Mitchell will start to hit the baseball and he will start to flourish at the big league level. And I think that's going to be something to watch there, is him trying to replace a little bit of that production that has been lost without Christian Yelich there. So I do think he's going to give us about that 3/4 mark. I could see him as that 3/4 mark. If I were to right now, because this was a question, a good friend of the show here, Caden from the Brew Pod podcast, he asked me a question today, and I said, I don't even have the answer for that right now. He said, if I were to pick a game 1 starter right now for the Brewers, like we're heading into a playoff series right now, who's your game 1 starter? Everybody's full rest. Everybody's ready to go. Who is your game 1 starter? Your immediate thought was Freddie Peralta, right? That's your immediate thought. But then I got to thinking, and that's dangerous, right? That's dangerous when you start to think there. But I got to thinking, I was like, okay, yes, Freddie is your number 1. But Freddie has had moments this season where he wasn't pitching like my number one. Colin Ray has pitched well. Tobias Myers has had some very good games for this Brewers team. So, who would be my game one starter? I think you could pick a name out of a hat, to be honest with you. Tobias Myers, Ray, or Peralta. Man, that's tough. I think I would say right now, I might roll the dice with Tobias Myers. He's given me the most consistent starts in a row. I think I'd roll the dice with Tobias Myers. Autumn, game one starter. You had to pick right now. All fully rested up. I mean, Frankie's probably not in there. Frankie Montes is probably not in there. He's not going to be a choice in that matter. You have basically the choices of Colin Ray, Tobias Myers, and Freddie Peralta. Those are your big options right now. If you had to roll the dice, game one starter, who are you throwing out there?
I mean, I'm torn between Peralta and Colin Ray. Because if Peralta's on, he does a really good job. But when Peralta's off, it's like, oh my gosh, get him out of here after the first inning. I'll go with Peralta when he's on.
She's picking Peralta when he's on, so it's a hope and a prayer, right? I mean, yeah, my two, like I said, I mean, Colin Ray, that's tough because you wish you had that one guy who was like, this is no doubt. You're Corbin Burns. That was a no doubt. He's my game one starter. Maybe you could have tossed Woodruff's name into the hat there, but Corbin Burns was your number one. Right now, it's tough. It's tough to even, thinking about that, it's like, who would be my game one starter? You could, like I said earlier, I mean, you could pick a name out of a hat. You could say, okay, I need all three of these guys at some point. They're all about the same. I'm going to pick a name out of a hat and hope, right? I'm going to pick a name out of a hat and hope. Freddie has had some good games as of late. Tobias Myers has just been more consistent for me. I know I understand at this point of the season right now, if I had to pick what I'm going to get out of Tobias Myers. Colin Ray, if you had to pick consistency, Colin Ray is right up there too. So, I mean, it's a name out of a hat kind of deal for me there. So, man, that was a tough question. I thought about it today, but that was a tough question there. So, this is going to be my question to the Autumn first, and then I'm going to think of mine. Here. So, if you could bring back two former Brewers all time, you got your choices of tons out there. Who would you, and they're feeling good right now. They're not like they're walking around with a walker or anything like that. Who would you put onto this roster right now? Like this Brewers team, we know they have holes places. Who would you put onto the roster right now?
I mean, Robin Yount, no matter what. I will always pick him as my favorite Brewer or to be on the Brewers roster. I mean,
we can pick them in their primes. So we got Robin Yount in his prime.
Yeah.
She's thinking really hard about this. She's thinking really hard.
I am.
Hopefully everybody out there, you just thought of your two Brewers that you'd bring back.
I'd probably go Paul Molitor. I'm old, very old school, but
Willie Adames, you just lost your job, right? We're just losing jobs.
Paul Molitor was third and second. You had Robin Yount at short.
So who are you gonna? You're moving out Willie, right? He's moving off a short, and then you got to pick between Joey Ortiz and Terang. Who you bumping?
I'd pick Ortiz.
Ortiz is gone. Willie's gone, and we're just throwing these two in there. That's what we're doing right now. I mean, not bad. I mean, you're definitely adding two really good bats into the lineup there.
Well, that's what we need right now.
That's what they need right now. But if I were to pick two guys, I'm going starters. I'm going starting pitchers. I really wanted to say Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder, but I just can't. I can't because we need pitching. I really wanted to say Giovanni Gallardo, because I just love me some Giovanni, but we have DHs now, so I'm not getting Giovanni's bat. What I wanted was Giovanni's bat. I'm not getting Giovanni's bat, so I'm going to have to take Giovanni Gallardo out of this one here. Ben Sheets would be a very good option in there. I'm going to have to go CC Sabathia because in that season that he came over to the Brewers, he was a big reason why they made the postseason. I mean, the dude pitched every 3 days, it seemed like. Like, he was on no rest, right? He just kept throwing him out there. I could say Corbin Burns because technically he is a former Brewer. I could bring him back. I like Ben Sheets. I'm going to throw Ben Sheets in there, and I'm going to throw CC Sabathia in there. I think those two, the starting rotation just got a ton better. It just, we're good now. We're good now. We got Ben. We got CC. We're good to go. We're good to go. That's all we need to do there. That's all we need to do. So that was a great one. I could see yours. Adding Yount, adding Molitor. That'd be huge. That'd be a good one there. That'd be a good one. So with that, that's about all we got sports-wise to talk about today. That's about all we got. So I have a question for Autumn today. She just gives me this sports Jeopardy. It's craziness. I got a question now to end the show here. She thinks she can see the status. She thinks she can see what it is. Top 5 most attractive birth months. Top 5. I saw a list today. I was scrolling through social media, and they made a list of the top 5 most attractive birth months. So these are the ones where if you're not born in these months, you're probably screwed. Like, that's just how it is. Maybe you're not. Maybe you are just that darn good looking. But these are according to the list that was brought out. I don't even know who made the list. But top 5 most attractive birth months. So, Autumn, give me a month. You just got to guess a month.
September.
Number 5. I already got hosed off this list. I'm all the way down to number 5. I feel bad here. So we got top 4 yet. If you had to guess a month, what do you got? April is number 1. Number 1 on the list. Now you see why I brought Autumn onto the show here. Now you see. So I got 2 through 4 left on this list. We have April and September knocked off 1 and 5. February is number 3 on the list there. I don't know if she's cheating over there or not, but it's number 3 on the list. She's showing me her computer screen like she's not cheating. I don't know what she's doing up there. So we got 2 and 4 left. August is number 2. What is the last month on the list?
November.
I feel like no, it is not November.
How many guesses do I get?
I don't know. Start throwing out months. There's always 12 months in a year. December babies. December babies are to end it. That makes sense because from what I've seen pictures of Jesus, he is a very handsome fella, right? That beard, he pulls it off. So that automatically puts December up on the list, right? Up on the list there. I mean, just a random quiz to end it there. I just saw that today scrolling through social media. You see the darndest things when you're scrolling through there. Had to bring it up there. So with that, Autumn, that's about all we got, huh?
Yeah.
That's about all we got for the day. Great stuff. They're hoping, like I said, Brewers up 8-4 here, bottom of the 8th inning. Hoping they hang on, right? Hoping we're talking about a Brewers potential sweep tomorrow here on the show. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. But until we talk to you guys again tomorrow, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by to the river, down to the river.